Do you believe that you can heal yourself? Too often, we give our power away to something outside of ourselves, and rarely, if ever, trust and tap into our innate healing power and intuition. Everyone has this capability to heal in ways we never thought possible. It's your sovereign right to claim and have true health and lasting wellness. Now, here is the host of the Dr. Dolores Show, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in our amazing universe. And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Dolores Show. And we're going to talk about humor. And the title of our show is Laugh at Yourself, Embracing Humor and Lightness. How often do each of us kind of take ourselves way too seriously? I know I do sometimes, and I'm so wound up in living my life and, in my head trying to figure things out or worry about stuff, which is something that we all are working on to be more grounded in our body in the present moment. But it's just like when we are to the point where we are just so serious and we've lost our sense of humor, it's over, folks. So on today's show, I'm just going to read the description. It's called Laugh at Yourself, Embracing Humor and Lightness. Is a delightful exploration of the power of laughter and self-acceptance. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to dive into the importance of not taking yourself too seriously and finding joy in the humorous side of life, no matter what is happening. With a focus on embracing humor, viewers are encouraged to let go of inhibitions and revel in moments of lightness, enhancing your resilience and contributing to your wellness and health. So, humor, as we know, is essential for many of us. And it could be a survival technique or it can be just to lighten things up in really challenging situations. But it's really a necessity because when we lose our sense of humor, we are no longer in the present moment. And when not in the present moment, that's when things just go sideways or awry. And we want to make sure that we are, constantly in a state of flow. And when we're in our humor state, we are in flow. So I just invite you to lighten up a bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about things that are so, I think, important. Many people have a tendency to look at things and they're so honed in on, oh my god, what are other people going to think? It's just like they're so the dialogue that goes on in their minds is just overwhelming sometimes. It's like flight of ideas of things, they worry about stuff and their anxiety, and it's just like it's like that's what's kind of going on in their brain. But yet, when you're able to drop into the present moment and be right here, right now, you get to witness the comedy show of all ages. Yes, because you're able to see things from a completely different perspective. And really, life is a comedy show. If you ever go someplace and you just observe people, you'll just have a smile on your face because some of the things that are occurring and happening are just mind-boggling. And we had a show the other week. You can't make this stuff up. There's a lot of you can't make this stuff up moments, and it's a comedy. It's hilarious. And it's not about poking fun at other people. It's just witnessing these situations that, we are all on a pathway creating our lives, and sometimes things happen. And, I think things happen because we take ourselves so seriously that when these little hiccups happen that are not what we planned, it's the universe's way of saying, I'm going to just create some fun with you right now because you're just way too serious and we need to lighten you up. So I know for me, I've had situations in my life where this has been true. And I find that it's very relishing and very I want to say relishing, but also it's about being able to embrace what's really happening in your life and so on and so forth. So I just invite you to just take a moment and just be with who you are and in all your wonder, and just allow yourself to be in the present moment. So I want you to think about things that maybe have happened in the last day, a week, or a month that, maybe you've been way too serious with yourself. What was really going on with you? Were you like worried about something, or anxious, or just, wickedly stressed out, or maybe you were on automatic where you're just like doing robotic stuff and not even thinking, and it's just, you get up, you do your life, and you go to bed, and you're so disengaged with yourself that you can't see that. So when we are able to embrace what is going on and witnessing what we are experiencing, this is where a lot of the lightness comes in. I feel that when we are just taking ourselves way too seriously, it's almost like we need an energetic cosmic break, and the universe provides that little amplification of joy to come in to remind us that, it's supposed to be light, it's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to flow. When you are in the hiccups of like being stressed out and not really paying attention to yourself, you take yourself way too seriously. So let's just talk about humor in general. Humor is indeed a fascinating aspect of human behavior and psychology. It serves various functions in our lives, including bonding, stress relief, and even cognitive processing. The ability to laugh at ourselves is a particularly valuable trait, as it reflects the healthy sense of self awareness and humility. And, some things to consider, it's a stress relief. Sometimes when we feel like we're backed up against the wall, um, and, we are like so resistant, and in our little world, you're this defiant little kid like this, heels dug in, and you don't want to experience anything, and you close yourself off. The universe just kind of really sends you a message. I remember one time in my life, this was pretty funny. um I was going through some bumps in the road, and that's probably about 14, 15 years ago, so it was relatively recent. And, it's like you get to the place where you're just hitting your wall, and you just even wonder. You're asking the universe, and you're asking your angels and your guidance team for assistance. And I got so frustrated one time, I just threw my arms up and I said, "Are you guys even listening to me? Because sometimes I just wonder." And then out of the corner of my eye, I have a window in my kitchen, and I saw something drop from the sky onto the pavement. And I'm like, okay, what's that? So I go out there with my curiosity, and it wasn't just a feather or two feathers, it was a whole raven's wing that fell from the skies. And there was no trees, there was nothing above where it fell. So I was in a real conundrum, and I kind of got it. I was just like, okay, I think they're listening. And when I happened to go back into the house, in my mind, I heard all this laughter. They were actually, it was like, yes, we're listening, and you need to start believing us and just lighten yourself up. So for me, it was such a humbling experience. And yes, they were listening. And yes, sometimes we take ourselves way too seriously, and we have to remember sometimes it's not in our time, it's in God's time, or whoever you believe, it's in the universe's time, because there's so many things that are being orchestrated behind the scenes that you have no idea. It's not like A plus B equals C, it's A plus M equals Z equals N equals O. It's like things are connected behind the scenes in a matrix. So all these moving parts need to be orchestrated in order for manifestation to happen. Another conversation for another time. But my point is that when we take ourselves way too seriously, sometimes we miss those aha moments and the ability to lighten up. So it's really about relieving stress. It's about a good way to, when you have humor, it's a great way of bonding with other people. And as long as you're not poking fun at somebody, to their detriment to make them, feel less than. It's just like embracing like the scenario and the situation and how it plays out. Sometimes it's very, very funny. Our perspective, being able to laugh at ourselves, can provide a fresh perspective on life's challenges. Just like my experience, it allowed me to realize, okay, you know what, I'm not going crazy. I just need to not take myself so seriously. It allows us to step back from difficult situations and see the humor in them, which can help us cope more effectively. So it's a great, coping mechanism. We spoke about humility, involves acknowledging your own imperfections and vulnerabilities. By laughing at ourselves, we demonstrate humility and an acceptance of our humanity. So realizing that we're imperfectly perfect, that it doesn't have to be all serious and, not fun. In fact, if it's not going to be fun, I really don't want to do it. I don't know about you, but for me, that's my motto. So it's also allowing you, when you have a sense of humor, it's like it opens up the floodgates for your creativity. Um, and it allows you to be creative in your thinking and also flexibility. It's like when you have a sense of humor about something, you see a different twist on things that may not have been there to the average person. And it's a great way to bridge cultural differences because I feel humor and joy and laughter are very essential to being a human being, no matter what culture you come from or what race you are or whatever. And um and it's also influenced by your culture, your upbringing, and your personal experiences. So it's very much you know every culture experiences those things differently, and just to be aware and mindful of that as well. It enhances healthy coping miseries, no, coping mechanisms. They aren't miseries, they're miseries when you're not able to laugh at them, for sure. Instead of dwelling on mistakes or setbacks, being able to find the humor in them can be a healthy way to cope. It allows you to move forward with resilience and optimism. And we're really about resilience. I think us human beings are the most resilient breed there is because we are like the Energizer Bunny. We can't take a licking and keep on ticking, and we're just constantly able to move on from things and be able to reinvent, recreate, and morph into more of what we truly want to be. The building resilience part is our ability to laugh at ourselves can make us more resilient in the face of adversity. It helps us bounce back from setbacks and maintain a positive outlook on life. So when we incorporate humor into our lives and we're able to laugh at ourselves, you can have numerous benefits on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And I think it's really an essential part that to start developing that. So we're getting ready to go on our first break, and you've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network, and I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, and we are talking about laugh at yourself, embracing humor and lightness. And we'll see you when we come back from our break.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And today's topic is called Laugh at Yourself, Embracing Humor and Lightness. And before our break, we were talking about the things that are really important about learning how to lean into joy, laughter, and humor in our lives. We have a tendency just to take ourselves way too serious sometimes, and of course, the universe loves to conspire with us to show us that when we are taking ourselves way too seriously. So, nothing ever happens to us. It's just like they're paying attention and they have a great sense of humor. So, we're going to talk about next what happens when you're not able to laugh at yourselves and be lighthearted. We know in the medical world, there's a lot of different things that can happen. When we are, it increases your stress. When you can't laugh, because laughter is like a release of stress. It's like, it's almost like when you're in a pressure cooker and the pressure builds up so much. It's just like, and then you release the steam. It's just like laughter allows that valve to open up and that steam to be released that you're experiencing with your stress. I find that when we are highly stressed and we're going through so much, stuff, maybe we're worried or frightened or scared, living in fear, this is when you're not in your body. This is when you're in your head and your mind. So when we drop into our physical bodies, this is where we get to, number one, be in the moment and experience life to its fullest. It's like we get to witness the humor and the comedy that life truly is sometimes. So, when we are not able to laugh at ourselves, the stress, our levels of stress increase and gets to the point where it's going to start affecting your overall health and well-being. Sometimes when we have strained relationships, people who can't laugh at themselves may come across in as overly serious or defensive, which can actually strain relationships. Humor is often used as a social lubricant. Oh, that's interesting. Social lubricant. And when someone is unable to engage in lighthearted banter, it can make interactions feel awkward or tense. So it's really about the reminder to be in the moment and be able to embrace things one thing at a time. When we are not able to laugh at ourselves and maintain that lighthearted attitude, it decreases our resilience. That means our ability to bounce back from our setbacks. When we are able to look at our our life from a I want to say a lens of humor. A lot of times our resilience, it piques our resilience and allows us to see those obstacles as temporary bumps in the road, and you can overcome them a lot easier. We, like I said, sometimes are very difficult on ourselves, hard on ourselves. What also happens is that when you don't see the humor in things, your creativity gets diminished. Um, Believe it or not, humor and creativity are closely linked. It's lightheartedness and the ability to be in the moment in your physical body to experience things. Um, it is also about when we're unable to laugh at ourselves, it may be we struggle with our creativity and come up with innovative solutions to problems. When you're able to be in your body and be creative and focus on being lighthearted. Sometimes when we aren't allowed to, we don't allow ourselves to see the humor in things, we might have a tendency to have a negative self perception of ourselves. Taking oneself too seriously can lead to negative self image. Yeah. Individuals may be very overly critical of themselves and having difficulty accepting their flaws and imperfections. Now, this is geared for those people who have a tendency to be perfectionists. And we've talked about episodes in the past on the Dr. Dolores show about being perfect, but also our self-talk as far as what you say to yourself in the quiet of your mind. Sometimes we don't say the most nicest things to ourselves. So this all of, we take ourselves way too seriously. So it it snowballs into like negative self-perception by our self-talk. So when you're able to lighten things up a little bit and laugh at yourself, it's just like, it's almost like you're cutting yourself some slack for being human, number one, and you're taking things more lightheartedly. When we don't, embrace our embrace humor and lightness, I think there's missed opportunities for growth because we're so funneled in, we have blinders on that we can't see the bigger picture of what is going on. We can't see the gifts of that current situation you're experiencing because we're so boxed into, it being so serious and so heavy. Okay. When individuals are too serious, they may be more hesitant to step out of their comfort zones and try new things, potentially missing out on opportunities for personal and professional growth. So, granted, everybody goes through periods of their life where they feel like they need to um, be serious and go deep within themselves to do some deep digs for personal growth and reflection, and that's all fine. Just don't stay there permanently. Just allow yourself to take that deep dive that you need, but also lighten it up a little bit and look at the bigger picture to get the contrast of what you are experiencing. And also, one of the other things that when you don't have humor in your life, you have a reduced enjoyment of life. Let's face it, life is full of ups and downs, and being able to find humor both in the good times and the not so good times allows your journey to be more enjoyable, allows you to be in the flow of your life. When individuals take themselves too seriously, they may miss out on the joy and spontaneity that comes from embracing life with a lighter heart. Remember, everything is energy. When we focus on just that heaviness, guess what you're going to create? More of the heaviness. When you start focusing on joy, fun, and laughter, it's a higher vibration. You're going to be attracting more and more of that into your life because like attracts like, law of attraction. So when we are not able to embrace um, humor and be able to laugh at ourselves, it could impact our emotional and mental well-being, and eventually I think it affects every aspect of who we are, because remember, we're energetic beings and our thoughts, beliefs, connectedness to self, your into multiple dimensions, and also your ancestral stuff all comes into play here, and it affects that. So when, I encourage people to start lightening up a little bit, laugh at yourselves because it's going to enhance your overall health and well-being, and it's probably going to allow you to age less quickly, because when you're happy and joyful, it's just like your energy and your whole appearance changes as well. So, with that in mind, I'm just going to share another funny story. I recently went on a trip with one of my sisters. We went to Sedona for part of the time, and we decided we're going to do a little picnic lunch, by the creek. It's just really beautiful, and you listen to the creek. It's just very soothing and relaxing. And there's something about the cottonwood trees there that they're these beautiful, noble looking um, trees that are pretty tall, and they have long root systems, and they're all always lining the creek. And they're there because there's a water source, of course. So the roots go really, really deep, deep, deep into the ground. And one of the greatest things you could do when you're there is just sit up against a tree and just imagine yourself melding with the tree, and you're going deep into the root system so you could ground yourself. So I was doing that, and my sister decided that she was going to do that as well. And as she was walking over to that, I don't know what happened, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw her tumbling, and it was like she grabbed onto a smaller tree, and it was almost like as she fell gracefully to the ground, it was almost like she was pole dancing. And I just started laughing because it just was hilarious. She was totally okay. But the thing was, is like she couldn't allow herself to see the humor in that, which was really kind of sad. And it wasn't like I was laughing at her. I was just laughing at the whole sequence of events that happened, because here I am in my Zen place, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm seeing this thing happening. And I'm like, it kind of startled me. And after I realized she was fine, I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. She didn't, not so much. But later on that day, I had an instance where I was in a store, and my allergies have been like running rampant this year. And it just so happened that I was sneezing when I was in the store. And, sometimes you sneeze so forcefully that, stuff happens. I pooed my pants. I mean, and my sister, I think, was when I shared that with her, she was devastated. I was laughing hysterically because it was funny because here you are trying to be so serious. And I mean, for me, I was able to laugh at that situation because it was hilarious. It's just like, all right, you know what? I'm turning into my parents, my mother. I'm getting old. It's just like things aren't working the way they are, and it's okay. And so what I'm saying is this: I just witnessed, I think I hope I shared with my sister that, no matter what's going on, and no matter how embarrassing it seems, it's like life can be really funny and entertaining if you just allow yourself to go there. And it lightens things up, and it makes things so much more, I wouldn't say tolerable, but it allows you to step into more of the flow of things. And, life is not meant to be serious all the time. It's about us having fun with it. So I just invite you to look at those situations in your life where you take yourself way too seriously, and just allow yourself to be in the moment with it and find the humor in it. Because when you are able to laugh at the situation, you win. When you lose your sense of humor, folks, it's over. So we're getting ready to go on to our next break. And you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we have been talking about laugh at yourself, embracing humor and lightness. And when we return, we're going to talk more about how you could have more humor and laughter and joy in your life. So stay tuned.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We've been talking about laugh at yourself, embracing humor and lightness on the Dr. Dolores Show. And I'm your host, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And, for many of us, we take ourselves way too seriously all the time. And when we start doing that, we really rob ourselves of the joy of what life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be lighthearted and fun and not abusive or harassing or whatever. It's supposed to be finding the joy in the moment, no matter what's going on, and living in that place and just being able to see the humor in every situation of life. So before break we were talking about the things that really hinder being able to tap into the laughter that is for us in our life, and the humor and the lightheartedness. So, how can we, implement more humor and laughter and joy in our lives? Well, that's like a magical question. Um, there's a lot of different things we could do, and it's not just a one and done. I think it's a combination thing. And, it's like surround yourself with positive influences. This could be people, things that you enjoy doing, people who have a good sense of humor and have a positive outlook, because that is so attractive that when you're with somebody who has that essence, people just it's like you draw people to you that are more like that. And I have to reflect on, where I sometimes I go up to a hospital and I assist in surgery, and for me, if it's not going to be fun, I don't want to do it. And so it's really a great testimonial when people say, "Oh my God, we're glad you're here. We're going to have a great day, and it's going to be so much fun." And it is, because that is my motto. If it's not fun, we're not doing it. And when you're lighthearted and fun, it really it's like a ripple effect. You show up that way. You're like this little pebble in this whole big collection of collective consciousness. Like example, big pond, collective consciousness. You're a little pebble that contributes to collective consciousness. When you drop your essence of who you are into that pond, it ripples out and it affects everybody in that pond. Same thing with humor and being able to be lighthearted. It's not about, making things, not as serious as they need to be. It's just like seeing the twist, the humor in the situation to make it more, I want to say, digestible, being able to move through it a lot quicker. So surround yourself with positive influences. Spend time with people who have a good sense of humor and a positive outlook on life, because laughter is contagious. It is. And being around cheerful and lighthearted individuals can lift your spirits. Sometimes go to comedy shows, look at funny movies, and just be with that, because that'll just raise your vibration and allow you to tap into that innate creativity that allows you to see things in different perspectives. Practice mindfulness, and we talk about that a lot on the Dr. Dolores show, because mindfulness is a the gateway to allowing you to be in your body, which is your present moment, and being into the present moment. When you are in the present moment, you're right here, right now, and you are grounded in the reality, and you won't miss a beat. You're getting to see and witness the bigger picture of what's going on, and sometimes the humor that is there as well. Don't take yourself so seriously. Just have fun. Like I said before the break, when you take yourself so seriously, it's like and you can't laugh, you lose, because the gig is over. You lose your sense of humor in life, it's over, folks. So please, please, please allow yourself the grace to lighten up and just allow yourself to see things from a different lens. Engage in playful activities. Incorporate more playfulness into your daily routine, whether it's playing games with friends, goofing around with your children, or indulging in a hobby you love. Find ways to inject fun and laughter into your life. Like I said, if you like comedy, or you like comedy, movies, comedies, check those things out, but also just be able to um, feel what it feels like when you laugh. When you laugh, it's like it just lightens up your whole essence and your physical body. It's a it's a stress relief. It's like, the little pressure cooker valve that opens up that, boxed in stuff. When you laugh, it just like implodes, and it allows it to dissipate, and it allows that stress to become less and less and less. Practice laughter yoga and laughter therapy. Believe it or not, there are such things as that. I know it sounds kind of little for a stretch for some people, but I know some people who do that. And, I know that they have found through research that this is essential. Laughter is essential, just like experiencing any emotion, humor, laughter, grief, forgiveness, those things are all energy. When we're able to experience them, um, we allow them to come to a neutral position. And this is not neutral meaning a bad thing. It allows it to, the energy of the impact of what that emotion is, it allows it to come to ground zero, if you want. So energetically, it's no longer influencing your body in not so good ways. Okay. Let's see. Cultivate a sense of humor. Well, we talked a lot about that. Some of us are just naturally witty. And, maybe when we were a child or something like that, we were told that, not to be funny or whatever. And I invite you to circle back and pick up that piece of yourself that was funny and childlike and maybe immature, and just reintegrate that into your life, because this is part of this probably is part of your soul, this whole lightheartedness. And if we've grown up in situations where it was frowned upon to be that way, um, it's time to heal that aspect up and to allow that piece to be part of us, who we are today. Share your laughter with others. Laughter is contagious, as you know. Sometimes, you can look at somebody and you bust out laughing and you don't know why. And it just, perpetuates to the extent that you're laughing so hard that you're crying. And, and you don't know why, but if you shared that with anybody else, they wouldn't get it. But the person you're with totally gets it. So, it's a great um, bonding experience to have those moments with people, because you could look at each other and you just roll your eyes and you both are on the same page with that, and you get it. So, and it's about practicing self-care too. Take care of your physical and mental health by getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, and managing stress effectively. And healthy lifestyle can enhance your overall well-being and make it easier for you to experience joy and laughter. it's almost like this, you have children that are really cranky and stuff like that, and you right before they're ready to take a nap, it's just like that you need to put them in bed because they're just not fun anymore and they just really need a nap. Sometimes we need to do that for ourselves. If you're finding that you're not funny or, you're having a real heavy time, sometimes just go lie down and take a nap. When you wake up, you might feel completely different and something may shift and change. And maybe whatever was going on for you is through your sleep process has been allowed to process and reintegrate to yourself. Um, yeah, Sarah's writing here. Wow, I haven't had a cry laughter in a long time. It's like, yeah, some of us haven't, but it's so much fun when it happens because you're crying so hard because you're laughing. Or you're laughing so hard because you're crying. I gotta change that around. But yeah, those are fun times. And just be open to still silliness and spontaneity. Sometimes the silliness is just what you need, especially when a situation has just been so heavy and daunting. It's like allowing your inner child to step through the doorway and just be itself, and just be playful and uninhibited. So by incorporating some of these strategies into your daily life, you could cultivate a sense of humor, laughter, joy, leading to an improved mental, emotional, and physical and spiritual well-being and a more positive look on life. So, you know, what else do we really need to know about the topic of embracing humor and lightness and stuff like that? So, some things to remember. Humor is a coping mechanism sometimes, and it could be a powerful one during difficult times. When we're able to bring more joy and laughter and humor into our lives, it's about finding moments of levity to help alleviate stress and maintain perspective. So humor is a really positive coping mechanism. Laughter and health benefits. We know that laughing just raises our frequency. Um, and it has numerous health benefits. Research shows that it boosts your immune system, reducing pain and lowering your blood pressure. Incorporating more laughter into your life can have a positive effect on both physical, mental, I'm going to say emotional, spiritual, and all aspects of who we are. We talked about laughter yoga and laughter therapy. There's actually organizations that allow you that do that, and it's for cultivating laughter and also social connections. Finding humor in the workplace. I think sometimes our workplaces are just way too serious, way too heavy, not fun at all. And it's just like, you know what? My goal is to make the joy of being your job a fun thing to do. So you could bring your lightheartedness and your essence and your zest for life to it. It actually helps increase productivity when you have humor in the workplace. It fosters more positive work environment. And it's really good for raising morale and raising the culture to changing the culture and shifting the culture to a more positive and increasing the morale of the environment. I guess that's the word I wanted to say. Because sometimes things happen in organizations and it gets heavy, and it's not to bring humor in to make it like a offensive or inappropriate thing. It's just to lighten things up and just allowing people to um, be lighthearted. Laughter in relationships, it bonds relationships. It's like, people are like, oh, they want to hang out with you more because you're fun and you see the humor in things. And these are things that really draw you and draw people to you, to allow you to step into that joyful and fun loving aspect of yourself. And finding balance. even though humor and laughter are valuable, it's also essential to recognize that there are times when seriousness and sensitivity are warranted. So it's striking a balance between humor and seriousness by, navigating through the ups and downs. And like I said before, laughter and creativity are like the soul things that go hand in hand together. When you're lighthearted, it's like you're being creative and you're allowing the floodgates of your creativity to come into your world. So we're actually going on our last break for the show, and you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, and we've been talking about laugh at yourself, embracing humor and lightness. So stay tuned, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up a little bit and talk about some other things. Stay tuned.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network, and we've been talking about the topic of humor and being able to laugh at yourself, embracing humor and lightness. And, throughout this segment or the show, we've been talking about the things that humor allows us to do, the things when we don't have humor that creates for ourselves, and also how to have more humor in your life. So I just want to recap what we were talking about in the earlier segments with three key takeaways regarding learning to laugh at ourselves. Cultivate self compassion. We need to learn how to laugh at ourselves so that we could develop our self compassion and acceptance of our imperfections. Instead of being overly critical or judgmental, approach your mistakes and shortcomings with kindness and understanding and lightheartedness. Find the humor in those situations because really, when you lose your sense of humor, folks, it's over. So learn to laugh at yourself. It's not that bad. And I think overall, you're going to really love what your humor does for you. It allows us to embrace our vulnerability. Being able to laugh at ourselves requires a willingness to be vulnerable and authentic. Recognize that it's okay to make mistakes and that vulnerability can be a source of strength rather than weakness. Embracing vulnerability allows you to connect with others on a deeper level and fosters genuine relationships. So when we have a sense of humor, it allows us to embrace our vulnerability and laugh at ourselves and be able to know that, you know what, we're all the same, basically. We really are the same. People share the same vulnerabilities. We're more alike than and just maintain perspective. The last thing, humor can provide a valuable perspective shift, helping you to see the lighter side of life's challenges. By learning to laugh at yourself, you can avoid taking things way too seriously and maintain a healthy sense of perspective. Remember that laughter is often the best medicine. Finding humor in difficult situations can help you navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and grace. So, we're going to talk about our next episode because I feel, and I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm starting a 5 episode series called Becoming Your Own Best Friend. It's called a self-discovery series. And next week, we're going to be unveiling authenticity And this is going to invite you to embrace your true self, shedding societal expectations. So over the course of 5 weeks, we're going to talk about, like next week, unveiling authenticity. And then the following week, cultivating compassion. The third week, nurturing inner strength. Fourth week, embracing boundaries. And week 5, thriving in self-love. So I'm very excited to bring this series to you all, because I feel that the longest relationship you're ever going to have in your life is the one you have with yourself. Yet too often, we aren't very kind to ourselves. We're kinder to a stranger that we meet on a street than we are to ourselves. We're always wanting to be perfect. And when we strive to be perfect and we're not, we beat ourselves up. We don't say very nice things to ourselves in the quiet of our mind. We sometimes don't treat our body very nice. We don't nourish it and feed it and rest it and water it like we should. And this beautiful body that we dwell in, our soul lives in this lifetime, is truly a gift. It has everything that you possibly need in order to move beyond surviving to thriving. Yet we give that power away to something outside of ourselves. So my goal with this series is to allow you to create the foundational aspects that you need so that you could embrace becoming your own best friend. Remember, the longest relationship you're going to have in your life is the one you have with yourself, not your spouse, not your parents, not your children, with yourself. You were born by yourself. You're going to transition from this world by yourself. It's a constant relationship that you're going to have in this lifetime, but also as you transition into your next lifetime or where you go. Everywhere you go, here you are. So why not embrace ourselves and allow yourself to get to know yourself on an intimate basis. Know what allows you to want to dig deeper into finding out who you are instead of distracting yourself from going there. It's not for those that are not wanting to learn more about themselves or are not ready, but those who are waking up, realizing that, okay, things used to work the way they did up until a point, but they're no longer working. And maybe I need to look at things from a different perspective. This series is going to allow you to go to a deeper level within yourself and embrace pillars that are going to be the foundational piece of where you're going forward. So I'm so excited to be able to bring this to you. And it's basically a culmination of the work that I've been doing my entire life. And it'll be delicious. It'll be juicy. There'll be some wonderful tidbits, and also some great tools that'll be part of that. So looking forward to having you listen to this beautiful series called Becoming Your Own Best Friend, a self-discovery series, and with authenticity. So authenticity is about the essence of self-acceptance, empowerment. Through candid conversations, introspective exercises, we uncover the layers of societal expectations to reveal the true essence of authenticity. We are going to embark on a soul-stirring exploration of self-discovery and self-compassion through thought-provoking discussions and heartfelt reflections, and invite you viewers to embark on a journey of self-exploration where you can pursue authenticity that leads to profound personal growth and fulfillment. So stay tuned next week for our series, and I'm just going to remind you to be kind to yourself. You are worth it.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. Dr. Dolores returns Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, remember to be kind to yourself and create your best life. You are worth it.